Welcome everybody to episode 20 of Two Dimensional Champions. I'm Julian.
I'm Thaddeus.
Surprise, surprise, we're back.
Right?
And today we're doing the season wrap up for Prison School. So we'll be watching, or we have watched, episodes 6 through 12, and we're just going to be talking about the rest of the show.
Yep.
Yep. And actually, I've got a bit of news that I can break on this big old 20th episode we've got here.
Oh shit.
So a live action Blade of the Immortal movie was just announced 15 minutes ago.
What?
Yep. It's going to be
My nipples are
coming
already
out.
hard.
Yeah.
Just instantly.
Your reaction to that should be the opening for all of our future episodes. Yeah, so it's coming out in 2017. It starts filming next month, and it's going to be directed by Takashi Miike, who did Ichi the Killer, Audition, and 13 Assassins, as well as a bunch of other movies that are awesome and violent and
Oh
creepy.
yeah, because I think Ichi the Killer. That's like I think I read the manga, and that's like a crazy story.
Yep, yep. And he's funny enough doing a Terraformars live action movie next year.
Oh,
So
so you really
that's
just likes crazy, dark, fucked up shit.
yeah, which is why I'm surprised he hasn't hit up Berserk yet. But maybe I'm speaking too soon. So yeah, so it starts filming next month. They've only announced one person in the cast. It's of course Manji. He's gonna be played by Takuya Kimura, who's a really popular Japanese actor who was the voice of Howl in Howl's Moving Castle. He was also the main character in Space Battleship Yamato. He was in like a boy band, and I mean he's a good-looking guy.
What about the dude that played like did those crazy fight scenes with Kenshin?
Oh yeah, the Kenshin guy. Yeah, Takeru Sato, I think is his name. He just did you ever read the Bakuman manga?
Isn't that the one about drawing?
Yeah, funny enough, he and the guy who played Sojiro in the Kenshin movies were the two main characters in Bakuman. So I guess
Is there
that's what.
fighting in that?
No, there's no fighting in that. He
What?
went from Kenshin to a role which is literally just him sitting down drawing. So
Is he drawing dramatically?
from the trailers, it looks like they did some like cool sequences of how they draw.
Like if he draws like that one like a light second or whatever did in Death Note, like
Yeah, actually, it looks like it's a little bit like
oh
that. Like
okay,
it's
well in
real.
that case it's okay because that
It's
guy
like
he was like
yeah.
that, that,
Nobody
that
has
was
ever
some that was some emphatic or just like this name and then like the lights and the whoosh.
never has anything been written more energetically
Yes.
than the people in Death Note. Yeah. So Takashi Miike is probably I can't imagine a better director for this. And I don't know if you've seen 13 Assassins. You should track that down ASAP because that's easily one of the best samurai movies I've ever seen. Uh, and what's lovely about it is I think it's about 2 hours, and the first hour is all set up, and the final hour, if not more, of the movie is just one fucking huge fight. Uh,
Nice.
so there's no bullshit. It's just yeah, we're just gonna kill a fuck ton of people for an hour. So that was a great movie. I really enjoyed it, and I think this guy could do really well. My only worry is Kimura, the actor. He's a little too. He's in his 40s now, but he's very pretty boy y. Like he's just very pretty. So I feel like Manji, he's gonna have to buff up and I think work on his gruffness.
Yeah, there's
To like,
nothing real pretty about Manji.
yeah,
Manji's
I mean
the
he's
I
just
have worms living inside of me kind of like
yeah, exactly.
vibe.
But I think he could do it. He just needs to buff up a bit. And I guess he's gonna have those scars, so uh, he's got to, I guess. But so yeah, they haven't announced anybody else. I'm interested who's gonna play Rin, and most importantly, who's gonna play fucking what's her name, Makie, I think. That's that's gonna be a big sell
Wait,
point for the movie.
who's oh the girl?
The girl,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they should do an
So
anime on Blade of the Immortal.
yeah, it's weird. They never. That's something that they've never done,
Yeah.
which is kind of strange. You'd think that that would be something uh, they'd hit that up with, but
I mean, I would think that if they did it, I would remember, unless it was just really terrible. and I
Yeah,
blocked
it's
it out.
weird.
Did you just
I think
wrong?
I would remember too, right?
No, I suddenly have an urge to just like vomit. I don't know.
Yeah, I just my
Anyway, we should
stomach.
probably move
I feel
on.
like I have no idea. That's weird. Do you think it could have gotten an anime and it was just so shitty
No,
we just
we don't talk about this anymore.
okay? Yeah, I mean, I was just checking. I don't know.
Damn
I
it.
could be like a repressed memory I might have to work on or something like that. But yeah. So Blade of the Immortal live action movie 2017
Awesome.
should be super cool. And that was like 20 minutes ago, so I was pretty excited I got to talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's really awesome news in my opinion.
And then wrapping up the news segment, this is our last episode before a hiatus for a little while.
Kind of.
Kind of.
I'm getting a lot. So here's the story: is I'm currently live in Virginia Beach, and I am going to California to go to BlizzCon and to see some friends. I'm doing this via road, which means who the fuck knows? I'm gonna have a laptop, so it's possible that things might line up that I might be able to bring out episodes, but I mean, we weren't necessarily reliable in the first place. But you might not even notice a difference. But there also could be a chance that there's nothing that comes out for like 2 months.
We were actually on time for this episode. It's been exactly a week since episode 19.
Oh, really? Yeah, but it wasn't our plan to do it on Wednesday.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Tomatoes, tomatoes.
Well, whatever. You know.
it's it's what is it? It's Wednesday in some time dimension place.
Yeah.
What do they say? It's like it's always happy hour somewhere or
Somewhere.
something like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely
420
true.
or whatever time in which.
Yeah, I think it could be all of those. Yeah, so basically, we might do some mini episodes. We might wrap up the Animator Expo, which I think ends next week. So we could do
We
that.
might do nothing and we might do everything.
Yeah, but
Mm.
we'll be back for sure when you come back.
Which I don't even know when it is because I haven't planned my return.
We'll say,
So everyone knows, the lack of scheduling isn't just in Two Dimensional Champions, but it's actually my entire life. So here we are.
yeah, this is,
I might swing by visit you, and then just like
yeah, we could do well, I guess
48
none of our
hour
shows are,
recording session. You thought
we could
that
just,
the whatever Blitz was bad.
oh, the Summer Blitz of 4 episodes was
You,
powerful.
you,
Yeah,
you had a nightmare of me right then when you were sleeping. This time I'll actually be there, being like, Julian, we must
time to
record, and you're
record.
like, it's
Time to do
5
it. I'm ready.
a.m. I'm just trying to sleep. I've just got like bucket of cold water.
Yeah, you're like, I've already watched 50 episodes. Where have you been? I was like, I think I've seen the first one.
Right? I'm like, you were sitting next to me, and you're like, I was sleeping.
It's like, yeah, I passed out somewhere there. So yeah, so we'll get you episodes as soon as we can. But there'll be at least, let's say, 2-3 weeks, of possibly nothing. So just consider it like this is the season finale, I guess, of season one of Two Dimensional Champions. We will be back probably in November, but maybe something before then. This is really just I'm trying to make this sound more professional, but there's
It's like,
just it's
I
like
really, really wish we knew anything about ourselves.
yeah.
Hmm.
We'll be back
We'll
at
be
some
back,
point.
probably,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I could just disappear and somewhere in transit, and then it'll be like a mystery.
That would be
Aliens,
deeply, deeply upsetting because then season two of Two Dimensional Champions would be just me on the road looking for you.
right?
Yeah.
Have our own little like supernatural esque thing.
Yeah, at that point, we just might as well pitch it to HBO.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
the best story.
yeah, how about two pale and pasty white nerds, on some dramatic trip across the country?
Right.
Sounds
We'll
like a
have
good
one guy
show
just
to
like
me.
really big and the other guy really scrawny. It's not like it meets any trope that's ever been done ever. By any I mean all.
Yeah.
Boom.
So yeah, I think that wraps up the segment. So just watch our SoundCloud page or iTunes, and we'll get you those episodes as soon as possible. And while we're on break, just send us your requests for what we should do next and what of the new anime season uh, looks good. I think One Punch Man is definitely my number one
Dude, there's
thing we
some
have
because
to do.
there's some of the ones that we did too that I want to wrap up. So there's a lot of. I also got
Yeah, yeah.
like here's like a list too that like a friend gave me. I don't even know what any of these are. Kokoro Connect, Nana, Your Lie in April, Mirai Nikki. Don't know what any of those are, but I was told that they were good and to watch them.
Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, we can do those. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
Boom. I don't
Yeah.
even know
So
how to pronounce them or what they are. But that doesn't mean anything.
yeah, yeah. So and then also today, this is kind of an important day in anime history.
Is this the
Actually,
Evangelion?
yes, today, October 4th, and I mean, it's already passed in Japan, I think, but October 4th is the 20th anniversary of the airing of the first episode of Evangelion.
And this is like when you annually like reread everything and rewatch everything or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm rereading the manga and going through the show
Hmm,
because the Blu rays came out, so I've been watching that slowly.
you're a nerd.
Yeah, well, it's basically my religion, so it's like, oh, gotta,
Right.
pray in the direction of
I worship angels, not those
Tokyo 3.
angels.
Yeah, yeah. And it's perfect too because you've got the Old Testament, which is the TV show, and then you've got the New Testament, which are the movie.
Yeah.
That's
Whenever I think
right.
of the movies, I just think of that scene with Ray and pills.
Oh yeah, where
Reading.
she's eating the plate of
Yeah.
pills in front of Kendo. They could at least put it in like a sauce or something. That would have at least been polite.
No.
But no, it's just a plate of pills.
Yeah.
So prison school.
Boom.
Uh, let's get right into it. Episode 6.
Yeah.
And what'd you think?
Um, episode 6 and 7. I'm actually like, for me, they're sort of blended together, and I like when I started watching them again, I was like, man, I really thought that the anime is a whole lot better than this, or whatever. I don't know, like those. I feel like Prison School is almost like one of those, like it grows on you, you know,
Mm,
like you have to like start sort of watching it, and then
yeah,
like you become corrupted and twisted in the same way that it is, and then everything
yeah,
becomes better.
kind of like Hana. You start out. You may have been crazy at the beginning, but the show just breaks you over the course of 12 episodes.
I don't know if I've seen that. Hana?
Yeah, Hana. She's the blonde girl, right?
Oh, oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. She's the best.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like the show really relied on the gags and just like really funny particular scenes, and I actually felt like over the course of the whole show, those individual really funny scenes still occurred, but it really began just the comedy. It just the story got more in depth, and so I feel like the comedy relied less on gags and more on these big,
The dynamics between the
large, yeah,
characters.
the dynamics and also larger arcs.
Right.
So like a lot of stuff that happens later on is funny because of the previous 10 episodes,
Hmm.
as opposed to
Yeah, and like
the poor main character getting shit shoved up his ass. So,
which still
which was
happens.
funny. Which was funny. He gets that stick in the butt in episode 6 when he's trying to save
Right.
his ant buddy from the crow and the ants.
Yeah.
Uh, which also I should point out for this podcast especially, people listening should really watch the show and then listen to what we have to say because otherwise we're just going to be referring to scenes that will sound like we are fucking crazy
Because the show's
and
fucking crazy.
because the show is fucking crazy and we're just so spoiler alert.
The show's fucking crazy. Check it out
It's a crazy show.
if you're crazy.
So yeah, and for me, yeah, 6 and 7 kind of blended together. The standout scenes for me in episode 6 was Hana in the nurse's office.
Right. I was trying to like remember when that scene happened, and then she just like
Yeah,
passed out.
she passed out. He
They were just like really close underneath the bed,
yeah, and he popped a
popped a
boner.
boner, and then like when she got the flashbacks of it like later, it's like I think I
Oh, with the
remember
mushroom.
something, and then like this is much later, and she's like in like a cooking class, and then like I when she falls, and then the mushroom lands in between her legs, and she's like,
And it makes this squeaking noise,
right,
and
and
it
she's
was
like,
God, that was hilarious. Yeah, so funny. I just her Hana's story is, I think, the standout arc of the show for me. I think for you too.
I just kind of love her, and like I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
like she's just really kind of scary, but like kind of sweet too, you know?
yeah. It's like she gets to something like really dark inside dudes. I don't know. Just like something really weird that she brings up. I'm gonna guess for every guy who watches this show, because her dynamic with the main character is both. She beats the shit out of him, and is obviously extremely aggressive. But then she's also, it's like very curious, like a very curious give and take relationship where they both. I
God.
mean, he doesn't really mean to mess her up, but does.
Dude,
it's,
it's yeah,
it's just very complicated.
and then like what was happening in episode 7 with Andre and like the slave diary, I think is what it was, and
Oh
how
yeah, the slave
like
diary.
no one else was getting punished, and he's just like, please, please, please punish me. Like
He was like starving.
I know he's just like going through like a mental break or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's just so crazy, and then like keeps on doing like the mom, no, vice principal.
Oh yeah, he called her mom. The vice principal. Yeah, that was really good. Before we get into episode 7 too much, I wanted to say too, I also really enjoyed the scene with uh, the head of the school and the or the butt mouse pad that he got,
Yeah.
and how he was trying to hide it, but it fell out of the box.
Yes. And then
She,
he uses that later. Like
yeah, yeah, that comes up
it,
later.
it makes me think of a mouse pad that you have actually.
I have three of them. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in my actually, I don't have the butt type. I just have three booby mouse pads.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you might have failed that test
I
that
would have.
happened later.
Yeah, I actually would have failed the
Yeah.
test. Yeah. Well, and we'll get to that. That's an important, very important scene, actually. So yeah, so episode 7 is really the Andre slave diary is a big part of it,
Right.
which kind of continues in the next one too.
It all I
But
almost feel like instead of breaking it down by episode, we just sort of I don't know, maybe talk
just
about
talk about
everything
it.
because this all sort of blends together. Like it is just like a constant thing to me at least. I don't know, or we can break it down, but keep on doing it by episode, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of scenes that I just noted down, but otherwise, I think let's just go through the whole thing.
Right,
It's the easiest because yeah, it is a larger episode count than what we
dude.
hit.
In episode 8 when she was did the symbol thing and go, it totally made me think of you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have a big note here that's just go.
Right. Backstory is that I think you got me into Hikaru no Go or something like that.
Yeah, so my dad taught me Go, and then I watched Hikaru no Go, and that was really I got like super into it and made a Go club at my high school. I was like super nerd, but there was actually a couple people in the club. But yeah, and then I showed you the game, right?
Yeah.
And then in like 5 minutes, you were better than me in every single way, and would just beat the shit out of me whenever we played.
I mean, yeah, but whatever. I
Yeah.
game a lot anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we played in college a fair amount, and there's not it's not a very well known game, so there's just not that many people that you run into who know about it. So whenever I mean I know in Asia in general, it's much more well known because it's a really ancient Chinese game. So whenever I see it in anime, I think about when we were playing games
Yeah,
in our dorm room,
yeah.
and I'm just like sweating because I'm like shit.
Very very seriously. When I was opening
Yeah.
beer bottles using the frame, like the metal frame of the beds.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
It was just a classy
yeah,
situation
we really,
all
upstanding
around.
gentleman.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that scene was funny. I thought it was really cool how she wrote the characters out on the
And then,
board.
but he like read them wrong.
Yeah,
So
he
he's
was
like,
like, "What
I've
does that
got it,
mean?"
but what does this mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and Andre, I gotta say, his facial expressions through 7 and 8 are great, and he's just so desperate
For being punished.
for the vice president to beat the shit out of him.
Right.
He's just sorry,
And then
CJ.
that like when he like goes through, was that eight when he goes to the hallway and he sees like the cutout of the president, and then
Oh,
he like finds his diary, and it's like, and then I saw her, and then I was punished, and he's like, punished.
well, I liked when he got caught in the barbed wire, and he looked like he reminded me of a Titan from Attack on Titan. He looked like a Titan trying to break through
Yeah,
the barbed wire.
yeah.
But and I liked when they were doing the arm wrestling.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
or yeah,
yes.
actually, the arm wrestling was a huge. That was
Oh
just
my god!
immensely
And
funny.
then the hair.
Yeah, his one nipple hair, which was incredible, and I also loved how the vice president saw it as like this tree in the desert. It's like
Right.
lone tree.
He saw it as a
She
tree,
just
and then he would just like strain and breathe hard, and then there'd be like a tree in the desert and a tornado or something like
yeah, it's like, and she's like, keep standing up, tree. Stand up to the harsh winds.
that.
So that was really funny, and actually the whole arm wrestling scene was just great because they're just to set it up a little bit. They're trying to buy time for what was it Gakuto to get into the computer or like the administration room of the
This was
prison.
after the three breakouts, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is after the three breakouts, and that was set up as part of the DTO
Right. So
operation.
they're trying to find the DTO, but before that, like, what was it? I don't know why, but like I don't remember who did this. I just have in my note like that cat face. Do you know that cat that like the colon and then the three like that,
Yeah.
and then someone like actually had it. I thought that was hilarious. But
I don't remember that.
but um but I like how when they're doing like that confession, like so there was like um torn friendships, and everyone was like acting against each other, or specifically that the blonde tough guy
Joji. Yeah.
was the mole. But and he was like, sorry, like I betrayed you guys, and he's like it's okay, man. Give him like a little knock on the arm, and then he was like, oh, but this girl like showed me her nipple, or like I saw a nip slip, and then they beat the shit out of him. Do you remember that?
Oh no, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So the thread that goes through these few episodes is Joji is giving information to the vice president
Right.
for being able to get tasty food and to be allowed outside, and he's set up by this girl who supposedly likes him, and she's flirting pretty heavy with him. And yeah, so I loved it when the guys forgive him for betraying them, but as soon as he talks about that there's a nip slip and that he saw, it was like, what was the line, like your admission to seeing a nipple was like too
It,
much for us
it,
to
it was it was like the crime of seeing a nipple is what I
the
have in
crime of
quotations.
yes.
It's
And
like
what
it's
was
like I'm
great is
sorry, but it was the crime of seeing a nipple.
after they beat the shit out of him, it's really funny how they had the same facial expressions that they did when they were forgiving him, when they're explaining why they had to beat him up for seeing a nipple.
I didn't know.
And it wasn't like they were drawn similarly; like it was copy and paste the same expression.
Right.
It was great, and they're just so calm about it. They're like, "Yeah, that was crossing a fucking line. It's like
Right.
that's not going to go." Yeah, and so Joji after that kind of comes back into the fold, and that sets up the group for being kind of a unified front for the final arc, which is them trying to get out of being expelled from the school.
Yeah.
Which I thought was nice. I liked how they handled like Joji's story too, because I was kind of afraid it would like drag on for too long, and it
It
also
was pretty quick.
it was pretty quick, and also Joji was Kiyoshi's old friend, right?
Right.
So they had been friends for a long time. So I also was hoping it wouldn't go on too long, just because they were still buddies from beforehand. So it just wouldn't. I don't know. I was glad that it was. It felt like a really well paced side story with his betrayal and stuff like that, because it made sense why it happened. But then I thought it was just really
Well,
well
and
done.
and the way that it was like resolved when he came in to stop some kids from picking on another little kid, and
Yeah.
then the other guy like threw sand at him for picking on his friends and was like,
Hmm.
you know, friends stick up for you. I don't know. He said something about like being friends and how you should act, and he was like, "Oh fuck, I just got schooled by 5-year-olds."
Yeah, I just got schooled by kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's they said to him, "Your crime in seeing nipples is too serious." That's the note that
Yes.
I had.
It was freaking
And so
brilliant.
what's funny is while he's so the third breakout is that he is off grounds, and if he's not back in time, they're going to be all expelled. So the other guys, they're outside, right? Because it's after it's after Andre gets breaks through the fence, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they're outside and they're like crying for Joji to get back in time. And while they're on the ground kneeling in front of, I think the vice president, at least, if not the president, Mary as well. And this is where we first hear about the wet T-shirt contest that happens during the summer block of the school.
Right. Right.
She says, "Yeah, you guys won't be able to see the annual wet T-shirt contest because, of course, an all-girls school would
How what? Yeah. I mean,
have a wet T-shirt
why
contest."
not?
So what's funny is the screen just fills up with their fantasies of like, oh shit, I can't.
Right, right. I remember. And then he like when he was running or whatever, he saw like an image of like a wet t-shirt
He,
contest so he didn't get hit
yeah.
by the car. He
So
was
it saves him from being hit by the car, yeah, because he looks to the side just in time to see all of these like boobies
right.
and the truck, and so it's like the it was like the guy's just astrally projected boobs
Right, exactly.
to the
Yeah,
friend.
the lust was so strong. For sure.
I thought that was really funny, and part of that too, I thought it was funny that during the arm wrestling scene, going back a minute,
Or forward.
I think that was before.
No, because they
Um,
didn't know about the DTO until after, right?
right. Uh, yeah. Why do I have this note? Oh, sorry. My notes were squished. I missed the little block that said episode 9. So actually, not talking about that yet.
Right.
I thought it was funny too. There's a little like in joke where the girl that Joji is hanging out with outside of school wants to go see the Grapes of Wrath, and they both think it's like a totally different movie than it actually is. So he thinks it's an alien invasion movie with space grapes that invade and eat everybody,
Right.
and they both fall asleep in the actual movie. That's because it's black and white and
Right.
boring and actually about like a big deal. And then the other story that goes through episode 7 is the tip of the sword from the action figure that Gakuto got from the big escape attempt that they had the last time we talked about the show.
Oh, very right.
Yeah, which falls on the bathroom floor and ends up in the bowl of peanuts that the president eats. And that kind of becomes a sort of like slight revenge for when Gakuto has to destroy the action figure to say that he's innocent and that he never received, he wasn't also part of the escape plan, and so therefore, that
Right.
whole thing. So the president passes out when she realizes that Joji actually comes in and accidentally says that he found it on the floor,
Right.
and the vice president was trying to keep it a secret.
Right.
I just like that.
And then she's
She,
like, the scene's just like she's just like brushing her teeth, like.
yeah, yeah,
I like
and
how the president always just seems like no matter like what sort of ridiculous shit happens, she's always just like, it's fine, everything's fine.
yeah, she has to be the most messed up out of all of the three girls because she's just so calm and collected that I feel like she's got to be the scariest.
Right, because it's like it's almost like a uh like she has such like an authoritative or whatever sort of presence over everyone. It's I almost think she's like the mom. It's like, it's fine. I understand that you did what you did. I'm just a little disappointed in you for not being able, or like I had more faith. Like I feel like she just sort of can like lay that on. And like whenever something crazy happens, I always feel like it's not like she's like oblivious to it. I feel like there's like this huge well of rage that's like beneath
Yeah.
her like placid face.
Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing where that character goes because she just really seems. I think that's a good way of describing her. She just seems like a seething well of hatred.
Right, like all of the rage that she has towards her father, for stuff, and it's just like, and those boys, and like all sorts of other like ridiculous things that happen.
Yeah,
It's just, it's
and it
crazy.
was funny. Her dad, the principal, I really thought he was just going to get thrown into jail at some point during the this season.
Just
Really, really did.
on the principle of the matter.
Well, yeah, because she keeps catching him with all this shit, you know? So, like, he's looking at porn on his computer, and she's like, you should really do that at home. And he realizes that he doesn't have any blinds, and it was
Right,
nighttime,
right,
so the screen was reflecting off of the window.
right.
And he's like, oh,
I should
gotta
get
get
new
some
blinds, and
blinds.
then the next scene is him like adjusting blinds.
Yeah.
There's another scene earlier that happened. I like how like the vice president, like when the three breakout things happened, she was like, um I'm gonna celebrate by doing 50 finger pull-ups.
Oh, yeah, that was her big.
and then fell, and then it was just like suspended by her panties. Like I thought that there was a collision when the fall happened. I thought
I
there was
didn't,
like
yeah, I
damage to
didn't quite
support.
understand what had happened until it opened in the next episode with the continuation of that scene.
Right.
I didn't quite like it was almost as if my brain was it just couldn't understand how ridiculous that was, and then in the next episode when they kind of her panties actually rip,
Right.
I just couldn't believe it. I It's one of those things. Was that in the manga? It had to have been
Yeah, it
because
was
it's been
definitely in
a.
the manga.
How did they just? I'm really interested in how that was paneled because that's just it just seems like such a
I mean, it was
ridiculous
the
fucking.
exact same way.
Wow.
Like it showed like from the angle of like the door handle and her like falling on it, and then it like would cut to like her like suspended with like her panties like bunched up. I was like, "Oh, do you want help?" She's like, "No, I'm fine." Like, and then yeah, I think they tore, and then she went to the to like deliver the meal, and the main
Yeah.
character saw,
Yeah.
and then he
Yeah.
was like, I must take this to me with to the grave, because if what they did to was it like Shoji or whatever for seeing a nip slip, it's like they'll fucking murder me.
Yeah, it's like I'll just be killed.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was really funny. And this is the episode with the arm wrestling scene.
yeah.
So now I can finally talk about
You
my
tree in the desert.
the tree in the desert, and also I loved it when the main character was arm wrestling her, and the one of the other guys tripped the table, and her nipple went straight into his eye.
God, but like I saw that and I love that, but like because of how they had to censor it,
Oh
like,
yeah,
and
I
it's
mean you.
not like that in the manga. Like it like the
Uh,
the panel is just so much better in the manga, because like I mean I literally I know what it's gonna look like when they release the uncensored version, and it's just
yeah.
like you really just need to see that impact. That
Yeah,
staring eye and that impact.
this is a show that really gets hit hard by censorship.
I mean,
I
and
just
rightfully,
it's
like in a way, it should, because it's like
well, there's no way this should be on TV.
exactly.
And also, there's a really funny scene, one of the many scenes where the camera is like hanging below one of the girls' butts, and this is when the vice president doesn't have her any underwear on, and they match the shape of her private parts to a shot of her eye in the next frame, where it's like her eye but sideways to match the. Do you know what
Oh,
I'm talking about?
I actually don't remember that scene.
Yeah, it's really quick. It's not very fast, but I cracked up because it was a shot of her crotch and it had the white, censorship, so you couldn't really tell, but then her eye appears right where, her vagina should be, and it was just so well played and so purposefully placed,
Right.
that I was like, this director.
They're really. I think like on that alone, you just sort of need to credit like the pushing of it, like
Oh
really
yeah.
like with like the camera angles and the censorship lines and like the I remember like in the first set there's like a bathroom scene where it showed like a ray of sunlight coming in from the window, but it stopped after it passed like the boobs. Like it didn't continue to the rest of the room. It just
Yeah.
like literally like just stopped at this point. And just
Yeah, it's
little
like
stuff
the
like that I just thought was hilarious.
when they add the censorship, you can see that they try to make it look natural sometimes, but then otherwise
But
it's
they're
like this.
also
This
like
just doesn't.
trying to not make it look natural.
Yeah, because it still has to look like censorship. Do you remember the show Goodbye, Mr. Despair?
Never saw it.
Yeah, so it's a comedy show, and whenever they had censorship in that, it was always, I think, the director's face. It was just him making like a goofy face, and it would be over the spot that they were hiding.
Nice.
I always really liked that
Yeah.
because he'd be like looking at you or something. It's
Hey.
Japanese dude.
Yeah.
so, uh, so the arm wrestling is hilarious. The ant dude is like super scrawny, even with all the prison work he's done. Everybody gets owned. He especially gets owned. He just gets like
Does he get like
flung.
launched and then hits the wall or something like that? Like
Yeah, yeah, he just gets flung. And actually, starting in this episode, going until the end, I actually thought the animation seemed. I mean, it's always been very consistent, but especially from episodes 9 to 12, I thought it was quite good.
oh yeah. Like it's really good animation. Like it makes me like I almost want there to be like a fight scene just like
Just to see what it'd be like. Yeah.
right. Just to see how they would animate it. But I mean even like then I think like when Andre broke out and then Hana like gave like an arm or what like pinned him or something like that or whatever like immediately. I think that happened. Like even that was just like really fluid and hardcore
Mhm.
and it's just all ridiculously good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just very well done. So, episode 10, the spirits of the boys are broken. Their plan, they got the software onto the computer, but they didn't actually manage to extract the email.
Right.
They did manage to pull off that plan, though. That was pretty sweet that they didn't get caught.
The vice president seems like she's gonna miss them.
Yeah, almost a touch of emotion. It's kind of hard to tell, but it seems like there's almost a point where she might miss them. We already talked about a couple of things that happened in this episode with the porn being reflected in the window and Hana slowly remembering what happened to her underneath the bed in the
In the hospital room.
yeah, in the hospital room.
And then
And
what was it? She did like the last meals and Gagdo's like completely lost his mind, so he asked for like crickets
he
on
asked for
rice or something like
grasshoppers
that.
and rice. Yeah,
And then the vice president's running around like catching all the
trying to catch.
crickets.
And she gets so pissed when he drops them on the floor after he comes back to his senses.
Right? She's just like, you bastard.
She's so
I
mad.
worked so hard for the catching those fucking grasshoppers. And he's just like, ah, ha, ha, ha. It's like vomiting or whatever. And they're like,
Yeah, his eyes were hilarious too. His eyes were just all over the place.
yeah. And
So
then
that
they're
was funny. He
like,
lost
you
it.
losing your mind is all just a ruse. And he was like, no, I just lost my mind.
Yeah, I did just lose my mind for a while,
Right.
you know. And then the big thing with this episode is what you already brought up a little while ago, which was the boobs or butts conversation with the
With the
head of the
president.
school.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was the conversation that got them, their extra
free.
day or whatever.
Yeah, and I love so the head of the school, the headmaster says that nobody who is an ass man can be all bad.
Right, just like how they're saying nobody who likes crows can be all
Yeah.
bad.
And I like how the main character really stretches his brain to the limits and trying to
Right.
figure out how to philosophically, provide,
He's like, really, I'm a boob man. but I need to think about how I'm an ass man or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I just love the really complicated, or the really in-depth thought that came into thinking about how for all of evolution, everybody was looking at each other's butts, and then suddenly when we stood up upright and girls turned around, we saw boobs. So boobs are actually just
But
copies of
copies of
butts.
butts.
Yeah,
Exactly.
butts are the original.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think I might have cried. I think I had never.
Because you're laughing so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I just had never
And then
thought about
like
it
the
like
whole
that.
animation too, with like it shows like the monkeys or whatever, like walking
Yeah.
through and like this weird sort of like
And
furry evolution phase.
and the delivery of the lines is so serious. It's like so intense.
Exactly.
And there's just God, they sell it so well. So that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And then we now they've been given an extra day to prove their innocence and to possibly get away from being expelled, or to just not be expelled, I should have said. So the final two episodes are definitely, it's definitely a two-parter.
Yeah.
Uh, and episode 11, you got to talk about episode
Oh my
11
God. That was the
because yeah, this is when Hana.
like completely makes a break, like in
Yeah,
the mind or whatever. Oh my
this
God.
this
I
is
love
Hana
it
at
so much.
full tilt.
Full tilt, full craziness. You know, she's talking about how she's gonna like destroy his mushroom or whatever. But like I'm just gonna fly to the scene of like opening up the bottle and how it's all like these crazy power plays they don't back down from. So he ends up like dropping his pants, and she's like, "Why are you dropping your pants? Are you in kindergarten?" He's like, "I need to do this to pee," and she's like, he's like, "Haha."
Yeah,
And then he grabs the cup and he puts it over his dick, and then he puts his other hand on his hip, right as he walks
yeah.
towards her.
And he asks her to hold the cup because he can't hold the cup without
Exactly.
like spraying
So
everywhere.
then she responds with a logical thing of also taking off her pants, and it's like, why are you doing this? And she's like, ha 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 ha! Ha. I bet you didn't see that one coming. It's like, just like, what the fuck is going on? And it's oh my God! And then like, it just got so, it just
It
got
just gets
so
it gets
intense,
it gets so intense and it gets so raunchy. It's
and it's
ridiculous.
like I've never been so like uncomfortable and aroused at the same time.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it's
like
like
you can't stop watching, but it's
and
also
I
just
and I knew
really
what
unnerving.
happened. I'd already read the manga, so I knew what
Yeah.
happened, but I was still like, oh, what?
That's really funny. I had no idea that this was going to
Yeah, I
happen.
kind of want to know. So like what was your sort of uh experience? We'll get into the kiss in a second, but I want to know like
Yeah.
I'll just actually just yeah, tell me like what it was like seeing that for the first time. Like
Well, it was interesting because I kept thinking he was going to stop. Because so previously the Hana like
just past that.
story segments would always kind of conclude after a line had been crossed.
Right.
She would pass out, and it would always so it was always very funny and entertaining, but it would always it was always kind of like a one event sort of thing.
Right.
And this, I kept thinking it was going to stop, and it kept just going crazier and crazier, and I was actually speechless.
Yeah.
uh I think I just watched it with like a very, very uncomfortable grin, where it was like I couldn't quite laugh,
Right.
but I couldn't stop watching it, and it's just really well directed, really well animated, really well acted. This is another one of those scenes where this had to have been. uh, I mean, I just can't imagine performing this. Even I mean, obviously it's animated.
Yeah, but like even just
Yeah.
the voice actors and like the kiss or whatever, it was like it was just really like well done, and really intense, really makes you uncomfortable. And then like when it goes to like French kissing, like I'm just like
Yeah,
it's not even like necessarily sexy because it
it's
just
not.
sees like this you just see this like tongue and teeth, which is like
Yeah,
not
not sexy at all.
right.
It's
And then
just
just like
really like, and actually the cliffhanger is when they kiss, I think. And when Anzu, the girl who's trying to help the main character's not girlfriend, but girl he likes, she gets caught, and then they kiss. But then before that is the Medusa.
oh right.
Yeah, so she's not wearing underwear, so he looks up and
It just shows a picture of like a Medusa face.
it's just a Medusa face, and it turns him into stone.
Right, exactly. She's like, I can't. Your Medusa has turned me to stone. God. So I have I have a roommate and she has something that she calls like a Medusa. And or how do I continue this conversation?
Yeah,
But
you
anyway,
definitely need to add more
anyway,
context
like
than she
like
has this thing that she calls a Medusa.
exactly.
I was like,
Whatever. Let's
this thing.
just use your imagine. No, don't use your imagination. But anyway, whenever I hear the word Medusa, I think of this
Oh, the
scene.
scene. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. Never again will I be able to hear
No, you
that.
can't. You can't. You cannot hear the after you watch this and you hear Medusa. You can't think of anything other than a vagina.
Nope. And actually, I think this scene is I for me in terms of the like coming of age, raunchy comedy storyline sort of thing. I think this was it. That was the peak.
Right.
I don't think. I mean, really, the Akira Hiramoto, the author. I'm really interested in seeing where he goes from
It
here.
gets further.
It really,
Yeah.
because
Hopefully they'll do a season
this.
two. So you'll
I
so
mean,
you'll see what.
when you were asking me of like what it was like watching this for the first time, I had no idea that this whole scene was going to happen, and it really did blow my mind.
Right.
I just did not. I mean, I've watched a lot of anime, seen a lot of messed up shit in these Japanese cartoons, and I was unprepared. I was not prepared for episode 11 and first half of episode 12 of Prison School.
Oh my God. You'll never be prepared. I was prepared and I knew.
Yeah.
Like
Still, well, I mean, that just goes to show how well the animation is handled. And just, I mean, this is a great adaptation. And also, I forgot to mention, too, preceding the Hana, big scene with Hana, we also have butt wrestling and
I like
Hakuto
how
getting
they're like,
stabbed.
we're gonna try to do this anyway, even though this isn't the vice principal. And then it's like butt wrestling. It's like, oh, you can't. It's just like roundhouse kicks and just like fucking kill someone. It's like you're dumb. All right, moving
I think
on.
it's Gakuja. She just nails him in the head.
Yeah.
And then he gets stabbed by the fork in his forehead, which is funny. And actually, that was very clever because I forgot that had happened when they revealed why he got stabbed in the head
Right.
at the end of
It was kind
12.
of like confusing at the time.
It was really out of place at the time, and then so much crazy shit happened after that. It was very well written in that regard because I completely forgot about it with all the Hana stuff,
Well,
which
yeah, you
totally
can't
left my
think it.
mind.
And then I like how after it she just like brought him back and just had like a napkin to like catch like for the nosebleed. And
Yeah,
it was just like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine.
yeah.
And then I think I said something like try to instigate her, and she's like, whatever. I I have to go.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. And then meanwhile, the girl that was captured outside is getting interrogated by the vice
Oh,
president.
by face sitting, of course.
Yeah,
Just
of
how else would
course,
you
of
interrogate
course.
somebody?
Does she like die?
I think
she
that
lived.
like there was a scene where it like looked like she was like passed out from
Yeah, and they were talking about her in like the past tense. It was like, yeah, she did well. She didn't even talk.
right,
Even through my all of my enhanced interrogation
right,
techniques.
a face sitting.
So I think instead of waterboarding, they just need to do that.
Well, I mean,
That
practically is waterboarding if you can see how
it
much she
is, yeah.
sweats.
Well, the vice president sweats so much by this point that it is waterboarding.
It's so interesting how they like unsexualize some things by
Yeah.
just making it weird. Like like the vice president is supposed to be just like super sexual. Like she's,
No.
always wearing revealing clothing and has humongous tits and like all this other stuff. But she's also just like constantly like sweating, like profusely,
Yeah.
you know?
She she is strangely very not sexual in a very strange way.
Yeah.
Sounds
And like Hana is like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, really.
yeah. Yeah, and then of course the faces Hana makes at the beginning of episode 12 are priceless. Every single one of them should be screen capped. She just goes nuts before she passes out. She just totally loses it.
Right.
And then I also enjoyed too that the vice president is in this like leather like cat suit, I guess, to like sneak around,
That she
and
can't like get out of it.
she can't get out of it, and so she just bursts out of it. And then what's funny is the president comes into the bathroom because she hears this yell, and the vice president just like grabs the from under the stall and just pulls the
Way
leathers.
slowly.
I thought that was really funny. It just like she slowly just slides it back under the door. uh, so that was funny. And then of course it leads up to the final uh, confrontation with the.
I want to talk again about like the faces of Hana.
Oh
Like
yeah,
when she's like walking in and like she's like I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him or whatever,
yeah.
and like she gets stopped from by the vice president. Like I don't even
Mhm.
really like remember. I think that happened
Oh,
earlier.
yeah. That was a couple. That was when she first remembered what had happened to her in the nurse's
It's
office. Yeah,
like, and she's like so gothic and scary or whatever, you know, like
yeah,
it's just crazy. But yeah,
yeah. So we get the big reveal of what their plan was all along. I really loved how they did Gakuto's arrival and the reveal that Chio was actually masquerading as the ant dude.
right,
I thought that was really well done because I had no idea what was going to happen.
right,
I just totally there wasn't any. A lot of scenes like this will have some very obvious leads. Because when scenes like this are usually written, there's not usually big distracting scenes that feel like like the whole scene with Hana was huge,
right.
but it really totally took your mind off of
The
the
underlying plot,
major of the major plot was them trying to not get expelled.
right.
And I thought that was brilliant. I just thought that was really, really well done. I had totally forgotten about it. I wasn't prepared at all. And so when they revealed Gakuto getting beaten up by all the girls,
On
and
his
he
way
comes in,
in,
yeah, and he pulls the data,
out
the
of his
USB stick from his butt.
yeah,
I mean, it was wonderful. It was just really, I didn't, I didn't expect it. I really didn't. They totally got me.
yeah.
And we have a quick scene where the characters are Legos again, which I forgot to talk about last time, which was funny. Where before it was used when Kiyoshi was going to be crawling in the gutters around the
Right, right,
school to
right.
escape. So they used a little Lego figure, to display that. And now there was a quick one again to show, I think, how Chio or how Gakuto got the data and avoided the vice president and the president. And then Hana loses it because she is told that everything Kiyoshi did was just to distract her,
Right.
which makes me really fear for his life.
And
Next time,
it makes me feel bad for Hana.
it really made me feel bad for Hana because I don't usually ship quote unquote characters in series and stuff like that too often, but I
What do you
really
mean
want
ship?
like characters that you want to have get together in a
Oh,
story. So I think that's I don't know what the term I always hear about like shippers and stuff. I
that's
don't
weird.
know.
I've never, but okay.
I'm probably using the term wrong, but I really want Kiyoshi and Hana to get together. I think they would be perfect together. I think
Would they? I don't know.
I think they would. I think they'd be really great together, and I think Gakuto was praising uh, Chiyo, and she blushed when he was praising her. So I think Gakuto and Chiyo should get together, and that should free up Kiyoshi to be with Hana. Because I just don't think Hana will just let Kiyoshi be with anybody else. I think it's already gone too far.
Right.
I think that deal has been sealed pretty much. Um, so yeah, the prisoners are freed. They get the information to the headmaster. He's like, "Yep, that was a setup from the student council,"
Right.
and they're free. So we think that's the end until after the credits.
And so right is the manga continues, and as you were saying before, when we did the first 5 episodes, is that they're talking about a continuation of a live action series. Now, so this is like a perfect spot to end, but the scene after the credits that they have is such a good like teaser for the second season being animated. Like, I just want it to just be animated again. I don't care about the live action. And, like, it's so good.
Yep.
It looks so good.
So yeah, the scene at the end features the student council being thrown into prison,
Well,
and the underground
student
student council,
council gets thrown into prison by the student council.
and they're going to be in charge of their punishment, I guess.
Exactly. That's sort of what's going on.
Yeah. So you get all these new characters at the very, or three new characters at the end,
Right.
and the new setup of the
Which,
plot.
like,
Yeah,
oh my
which was
God, that girl's hair is red and not blonde like I thought. You know,
yeah,
which is a feeling that I think everyone has when they read a manga and then see it on anime.
oh yeah, see it in color. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, it would have been a really pretty straightforward ending, not for that last scene. So I don't know if they're doing a second season. I've heard rumors that they were. Then I heard rumors that they probably weren't going to. And what's frustrating is the live action show, which starts later this month, is actually just going to retell the story
Oh, really?
from the beginning.
It's not a
Yeah.
continuation.
No, no, it's just
I
it
might
starts up.
just watch it for Hana.
Yeah, I'm. That's probably the only thing I'm gonna check it out. I hope Crunchyroll gets it. I don't know if they've announced it yet. Now, the guy who's directing it is a really just ridiculous director who I've seen a few of his movies. He got started in the porn industry, and then went on to do a lot of stuff in like in the like extreme gore genre and horror
Wow.
movies. Yeah, so I've seen I think one of his movies, which was Machine Girl, which is about this girl who gets her arm cut off and it gets replaced with a machine gun.
Okay.
So
Like you do.
yeah, so I mean, I'm interested in seeing what he's gonna do with Prison School because I think kind of like the Blade of the Immortal movie we talked about at the beginning.
Right.
It's just a director who has done really interesting stuff beforehand that might fit very well with what he's about to do. So, but again, it's a TV show, so it's not a movie. So they're, I really wonder. There's some scenes in Prison School that I just have no fucking clue how they're going to do that live action.
Right.
Especially, I really want to see if they do the Medusa scene.
Or like
live.
how they represent all of the sweat, or how they
Yeah.
represent like.
Without just making it totally gross, it's just like
Well, I mean, it was totally gross.
it was totally gross, but it was watchable gross. I think live action. How do you do that without? Also, because her clothes never, because it's animated. Like
Like
I don't know.
her
I
clothes
feel
don't
like
really get wet, but she's
yeah,
always sweating. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, how do they make a character sweat that much, but not? Anyway, these are like I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but
Well, it just it introduces the crazy world that is prison school, and it makes you like,
yeah.
because it's so insane. It's hard to imagine how it would ever be animated, live action,
Oh yeah,
or not
yeah.
animated, but created.
I have no idea how they're going to do it, and hopefully, if it is on Crunchyroll, let's definitely talk about it when it airs, because I'd like to
Or
check
at
it
least do
out.
like a little quip.
Yeah, at least the first episode or something.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I think it'll be an hour long each, so I think there'll be a lot to talk about. But yeah, so that wraps up the anime version of Prison School. I think I remember being a little harsh on the first review that I gave it. What do you think about the whole show? And I mean, you've read more of the manga. Like, I haven't read any of the manga
It's
really.
like a special level of insanity. It really is. Like I like it because I'm crazy, but like it definitely doesn't work out for anyone. Something we were sort of talking about earlier is how it doesn't seem to be as sexist as it should seem.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it should just be really horrible and just morally just
Right,
just
like
really it should be super 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 sexist, especially from like the posters and stuff.
right.
Uh,
And like you can easily take certain scenes and like like cut it up, but then there's also just so many extreme scenes from the other angle.
yeah, and I think the some of the more complicated character interactions really bring up almost subtler points than I've really seen in most like super fan servicey shows of any kind.
X.
Yeah, like Triage. Yeah, like Triage X. Uh, yeah, so surprisingly, the show is actually quite deep in a way, and but it is definitely not for everybody. I think a lot of people would be very upset by some of the stuff that gets
It's you're
depicted.
pretty much you should be offended at some point in
Oh
some
yeah,
way.
if Prison School doesn't offend you at least once,
Go to
let it
some
let us
sort
know
of
what you're watching instead.
or just go
That
to
is like
like a doctor or like some sort of like
just go
psychiatric whatever place.
just go directly to
Yeah,
therapy, you know.
just really, I mean, you should.
Because this show, I mean, it's I think with the comedy and with the really well done characters, there's lots of points in the show that really keep you engaged and keep you with it. And I think that's the only way it can get away with a lot of the stuff it does is that it really is done very well. So it keeps you going no matter what they throw at you, which I think is really I mean, Akira Hiramoto, and then of course Tsutomu Mizushima, who directed it. I mean, it just really shows how good the core material is
Right.
because it keeps you involved, it keeps you interested, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it makes you go through some of the most incredibly uncomfortable sequences I've ever
God,
watched.
the time. I mean, it's just like I was. There's such a mix of emotions like that were going on in like every part of my body.
Yeah, yeah, and the Hana storyline is something I'm going to be thinking about for a long time.
Yeah, for
I mean,
better or
just
for
because
worse.
for better or for worse, because it's really hilarious, but it also brings up a lot of really complicated issues. I mean, that I just don't think
Like peeing.
like peeing, yeah, but also like just relationship dynamics.
Yeah.
It just brings up some really complicated shit that I think everybody will have a different take on depending on what they've been through in their lives. So that's why I'm not going to say any more about it here because it's just impossible to go through it without throwing your own personal interpretation at it.
Right.
Uh, but that's what makes it so engaging is because the author was able to do a scene that was I think would have been he handles the material that he's putting across so deftly that it can you interpret it and you enjoy watching it because it's well done, but you don't feel like I don't know. I feel like he handles it really delicately in a really odd way because he allows you to take a lot of different things from it. Humor, uh, but yeah. It's good.
And
I
other
mean, like just
things.
and other things. It's just surprisingly deep for a show that on its surface I laughed off as something I would never watch.
I mean, I remember
Uh,
just thinking that it was like the thing about fighting or what. Like I remember when I first watched it, I had no idea it was a comedy.
yeah, neither did I. I just thought it was going to be like Triage X in jail.
Exactly.
or something like that. So I don't know who I would recommend this to. This almost is like one of those shows that you just watch by yourself at night.
Right. I hope no one is watching the scene and
Yeah,
judging you.
where your headphones accidentally fall off and you feel very embarrassed.
Right.
Yeah,
Your mom walks in and middle of movie, so it's like,
or whoever you live with, desperately try to explain why, oh, it's for a podcast. I've got to watch it.
that
Just
should be the
I have
go-to
no choice.
excuse. Like, oh, it's for a podcast, or like I'm doing a research project or something. Like,
Yeah, it's like I'm not watching this because I
this
like
is for
it. It's just
science.
that my co-hosts on the show wanted me to watch it or whatever. God,
God, that
it's
animal.
yeah. so so I think last time I forget the score I gave it. I really would have to give it I think an 8 for the whole show.
Yeah,
Uh
I mean it's solid. I watched it all. I read the manga and I've like been keeping current as much as I can, and like it's really good.
yeah, and despite all first impressions, I ended up loving the characters. I really really want to see more episodes. I'm like really pissed that they didn't just go ahead and go, "Oh, we're doing another season."
Right.
Or just do a full 26 episodes off the bat. And it's not like they're missing out on, it's not like there's a lack of material. There's almost 20 volumes.
Right.
So, it's not like
Oh
there's
my
nothing to
God, and
work
there's
with.
like so much. It's like really one of those like, and if you think this is it, like you haven't seen nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to say that because now I think I'm definitely going to continue picking up the books because I really just want to see what happens.
God.
So,
And like the new
geez, this.
characters that they introduced are great, are great. It's so good.
See, I can't imagine what they're gonna do to like up themselves after what
I
they
mean,
just
think
did.
about what happens with Andre now that the vice principal's in prison. Boom,
Oh
boom.
shit!
It's gonna be, yeah. That's just like that question alone will not spoil anything, but it will make you curious.
God, I gotta read this. Okay, I can't resist it now. So, wow, Prison School was a fucking experience. I think definitely one of the most memorable shows of the year,
Right. For
by far.
memorable slash traumatizing.
It, yes, memorable, not necessarily for healthy reasons.
Exactly.
Memorable for I will be talking about this in therapy for the next 6 years.
Right.
And why do I suddenly have a pee fetish? So that's going to be big pointers moving on in our lives after the show. And so if you're interested, we watch the show on Crunchyroll. It's available to stream for free on there. And then it's the manga has been licensed by the wonderful people at Yen Press, and it's available, I think, at Barnes and Noble. Hilariously enough, I think I've seen it there. It's shrink wrapped, and I think each English edition, I think, is 2-in-1, which is handy because there's almost 20 books. So I think all the releases are 2-in-1s. I think the first book or two uh, are out in the States now. And yeah, so published by Yen Press, you can get it off Amazon. You can watch it on Crunchyroll, and Funimation licensed the anime. Oh, what am I talking about? It wasn't on fucking Crunchyroll. I watched it on Hulu because Funimation has it.
Right.
So you can either watch it on their website, wait for their eventual Blu-ray release, or watch it on Hulu, which is what I did.
I'm assuming the
So
Blu-ray will be uncensored.
yeah, the Blu-ray is uncensored. The first volume I think is already out, and there's already been people talking about it online because it is uncensored
Okay.
for real. Like there's no. So I guess I'm gonna have to buy it and just watch the whole thing over again. And
Because tits.
because well, I got to see the scene where her nipple goes into the dude's eye.
Yes. It's her fucking nipple.
And then what was it? What I liked about that scene too is afterwards, or yeah, he goes into a nipple paradise.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize that his arm has been basically just completely fucked up.
Oh my God, that's
So
great.
actually, that scene kind of I feel like encapsulates the entire show for me because you go through some really ridiculous shit, and before you know it, the show's over, and you're out of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
which I guess means you go into a nipple paradise when you watch this show. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up before I just say something really stupid. Anything else that you wanted to add with
No, it
the
was good,
last
and,
one?
we hope to produce more stuff, but who knows when it's gonna come out. Uh, I recommend Prison School to those who are crazy, and I hope you enjoy it.
If you have curious inclinations, and those people who do know who they are, you will enjoy this series.
If you didn't think you had a pee fetish, you'll enjoy it.
True. Yeah. So next, I know we're going on break, but we talked last episode about doing a season wrap up for Gangsta. Is
Mhm.
that still what we're going to do next?
I want to do it, so
Okay. So whenever we come back, which will be, it could be a couple weeks from now, but for everybody who wants to tune in next time, watch the rest of Gangsta, and we'll be back. I think you can watch it on Hulu, and we'll be back. That'll be our first episode when we come back, is to wrap up Gangsta.
okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for listening, and thanks for everybody who have been listening to us for the past 20 episodes and who have been following with our crazy schedule and less than consistent, I guess,
Content.
episode
Mhm.
content. Yeah. And so we really appreciate everybody who's stuck with us and any new listeners we might have. And we will be back, and send emails to, what's the new email address?
It is 2dcrequest@gmail.com.
Yep. And let us know what you'd like to hear us gab about when we come back.
Boom. Drop
All
the
right.
mic.
Later,
Later.
everybody.